right, let's go to work. All right. Happy International Women's Day. I was at, women are important. A lot of important women in my life. Friends, my wife, my mother. And everybody, at their place of business is doing something for the women at their offices and businesses, I'm sure. But one thing, I was at games last night, and a friend of mine was telling me about what they're doing at his office. And I heard, and I'm like, that's a little... Wow, that's very generous of the management. So for 2 hours today, they're taking all the female workers off the phone and catering a lunch. And I'm like, wow, it's really generous. It's really nice. But there's a problem, though, I think, with that measure or that, act of kindness is that the workforce at his business is probably about 65% female. And on the team that he's on, it's 95% female. So that means that for these 2 hours, it's only men working. And for him in particular, like it's an inbound call center. So basically, all the women are off the phone. So 65% of the entire office is off the phones, the people who would be on the phones. And on his team, 6 out of the 7 are off the phones. So he's by himself on the phones for 2 hours. Plus, there's a pile of work that pours in constantly. And so for those 2 hours, he's got to do all that work and answer all the calls. Now he says that they're taking measures. I guess they're getting some of the guys are going to fill in from other departments to help out on his team simply because of the ratio, right? Of how many people are going to be off the phones because they need to keep service levels up at a certain level, right? And that's cool. And again, I understand that the business wants to be generous to the women in their workforce, again, which comprises, roughly 65% of the office. But, and I know that people are going to start to scream about the fact that I'm giving a but. I get it. It's International Women's Day. Honor women. Don't diss women. And I'm not dissing women, but I am dissing a policy or an idea of measures like that are unnecessarily divisive in nature. It's not to say that we're going to appreciate women today. This goes so far as to say we're going to appreciate women today to the detriment of the men. Now, men aren't going to say a damn thing. They're not going to grumble about it. I mean, they might grumble about it under their breath, but they're not going to, squawk or scream about it. Because, like whatever, that's work. But it's divisive in nature because it shows a sort of preferential treatment. And this is the problem I have with the idea of, International Women's Day and International Men's Day as well. I mean, International Men's Day is November 19th. I think it falls on a Sunday this year. But you never hear about it because men don't really, I don't want to speak for all men, but I don't think men really give a shit. I don't think men really care. Personally, myself, I don't really want to be recognized as belonging to a group. Group identity works in terms of like solidarity, camaraderie, that kind of thing, but to be picked out as part of a group and say, we want to recognize you and we want to, elevate you is, I don't know, it's kind of pandering. And quite frankly, I'd rather be recognized for my individual merits, for things I do, because, there are good men and there are shitty men. There are good male workers and there are shitty male workers. And same goes for women. There are female workers that are shitty and there are female workers that are great. And to elevate the group and recognize the group minimizes the individual. And, Milo Yiannopoulos said it in one of his speeches. He said, you shouldn't care about race. You shouldn't care about sex or gender. You shouldn't care about sexual identity, ethnicity. All those things don't matter. You shouldn't care about those things, and I'm paraphrasing, and you should be deeply suspicious of people who do. I think I understand the idea behind things like International Women's Day. I understand the idea behind recognizing, Black History Month and that sort of thing. But I think these things are unnecessarily divisive. That's just me. I don't know. But, and kudos to all the women today. I recognize your contributions to society. But again, the individual contributions of individual women are more important than the group contributions of women. That may sound like a radical idea, or that may sound like I'm being dismissive of women, and I'm not. I'm seriously not. But the thing is, I judge women the same way I judge men. I judge them on their individual merits. I judge a woman on whether or not she's a good person, whether or not she's a good worker, if in terms of a colleague, whether or not they're a good friend. I've got shitty friends. I've got shitty friends that are most of my shitty friends are male. None of my current friends are shitty. I'm talking about former friends. My current friends are great. But I've had male friends that are total shitheels. I can't say I've had a lot of female friends that were shitty. But they exist. And I don't want to lump people together in groups, whether it's to praise them or to deride them. Does that make me an MRA? I don't know. Anyway, that's just my thought on International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to all the women in my life and all the women around the world. If you're part of a company where they're taking extra measures to recognize the women in their work in the workplace, and you're a guy, don't grumble about it. Just nod and smile and say, Happy International Women's Day. I hope my friend, who where this is happening, where he's working, I hope, and I'm not going to say the company because I don't need that company getting a bunch of hate mail from a bunch of crazy MRAs. But I hope he isn't hit too hard. I'm sure he'll get through it. It's 2 hours after all, right? And I don't know how busy his call center is. I mean, for all I know, it's a slow call center. You never know. But it's a Wednesday afternoon, so who knows how busy they're gonna be. But you know what? Like, I think a good recognition for International Women's Day in a workplace is Happy International Women's Day. Here's a card. Here's a couple of Lindor chocolates, or here's maybe get them each like a little bouquet of flowers or something, or a plant or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant on International Women's Day. I think I'll stop the video now because if I keep talking, I'll probably put my foot in my mouth. Remember, I'm married to a woman. I have a mother, and I don't want to provoke any ire. So yeah, Happy International Women's Day, ladies, and take care.